Hello again. In this video, I'm going to share with you a few simple tips that will hopefully help you achieve some higher grades. Tip number 1, sit in the front. This is almost so cliche now that I hope it doesn't cause you to just stop watching the video immediately. But this has been shown time and time again that those who sit in the front simply get better grades. And this is not just some selection effect where the people who are choosing to sit in the front are going to be the type of people who are going to be more studious naturally, but this effect has even been present when it's been done experimentally and the seats are randomly assigned. On top of getting better grades, you might even make some more positive, success-oriented friends, because I feel like that's the type of person that would be sitting there in the first place. So whatever it is, either an insecurity or your bad habit of talking or surfing the web in class that's probably holding you back on top of any of this, get rid of it, sit in the front, and get comfortable where you're going to get the good grades. Tip number 2 I'd like to share with you is sit in the same seat every class, especially on test days. Every single one of my psychology professors has brought this up at least once, I would say, throughout the semester, where they make sure we're all sitting in the same seat each class so that we can get better grades for whatever reason. They often cite things like the concept of retrieval cues, which is similar to anchoring, which is just having items present in one scenario will help you remember things from that scenario when they're present in another scenario. So an example being maybe the angle with which you're looking at the clock, hopefully you're not looking at the clock too much in class, will maybe serve as a reminder when you're sitting in that same seat on test day and you look over and you think, oh, it just flashes back to you for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why this works, but it has been studied and it does, and from my own experience, it makes me more comfortable. Tip number 3 I would like to share with you is dress and feel confident so that you can identify with somebody who would do better on a test. Maybe you wear a nicer collared shirt on test day, or when somebody asks you, how are you feeling about this test? No matter how unnatural it feels, you say, I'm going to get 100% on this test. You say, I've got this on lock. Any sort of lack of confidence is going to show up in your grades and when you're writing. I've even heard that the term con man comes from confident man, and that because this man exuded so much confidence, he was able to trick people into falling for his schemes. Tip number 3 I'd like to share with you is do not cram. Do not cram. Study in 45 to 90 minute intervals and take 45 to 90 minute breaks after those intervals. Try to avoid it as much as possible, and I know that sometimes life simply does not allow for it, but take some steps in advance. Take the steps that you can to make sure that you don't wind up studying for 6 hours the night before a test. The last thing I'd like to share with you is simply studying every single day for at least 20 minutes outside of the prescribed assignments, readings, and studying for tests. There's a lot to be said in science and math about practicing every day and doing practice problems as opposed to just reading, and I think that that's where a deep level of understanding comes in those disciplines for the most part. At least this type of understanding that will show up as good grades on a test. There's something so painfully pathetic to me about not being able to engage in something that's really important to myself and my goals in life for only 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day! I waste 20 minutes a day. If you can't find time to do 20 minutes a day for something, you do not have your priorities straight. And this is why I find this so effective for me. I strive for 45 minutes for each class I'm enrolled in, but 20 minutes simply makes it so mentally taxing to not achieve that I almost never ever miss this. So cheers, I hope you find some of these tips helpful and you're able to achieve those grades that you want.